Welcome back, brother. There's something quietly tragic about a man who forgets his power. When your worth begins to depend on her reply, her attention, her affection, you stop being the mountain and become the weather it fears. Today, we strip away the illusions, because what you call romantic might just be emotional dependency wearing a disguise. Every "I can't live without you," every message you send to chase her silence chips away at your gravity, but not anymore. You're here to remember who you were before you let someone else decide your value. And by the time we're done, you'll walk with the kind of quiet, unshakable energy that makes her chase the silence you leave behind. Let's begin. Number 1. Why emotional dependency destroys your value, even if it sounds romantic. You've probably heard someone say it, or maybe you've said it yourself. "I can't live without you." At first, it sounds poetic, passionate, like the words of someone deeply in love. But in reality, those 5 words carry the weight of emotional slavery and slowly drain your value in the eyes of the one you crave. The truth is brutal. The more you lean on someone else for emotional stability, the less stable and desirable you become. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding human psychology and embracing the Stoic truth that emotional dependency is weakness dressed in romantic disguise. When you make someone the center of your emotional life, you hand them the keys to your peace. You say, "You get to decide when I feel whole, when I feel wanted, when I feel alive." That's not love, that's bondage. A Stoic man understands that you can deeply care, even love, without needing. Epictetus once wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control and the emotions of another human being entirely outside your control." When your happiness depends on her texts, her attention, her approval, you're no longer in a relationship. You're in emotional debt, hoping she doesn't notice your growing imbalance. You begin to overgive. You overexpress. You try too hard. And women by instinct begin to pull away when they sense you've collapsed your world around them, not because they're cruel, but because desperation is repellent. It signals a man who has no inner ground to stand on. Here's a bitter truth. Emotional dependency often feels loving to the dependent one, but it feels suffocating to the other. And suffocation never creates attraction. So what do you do instead? You pull back into yourself. You take responsibility for your emotions. You stop sending the double text. You stop performing for attention. You stop placing your sense of wholeness in the fragile hands of someone else's mood. You focus on what is always within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your principles. You build a life so rich, so meaningful, that anyone who walks into it sees you as a bonus, not a beggar. The path of emotional independence is not about closing your heart. It's about protecting your center. It's about becoming so grounded that you can love fully openly without fear because you no longer need anyone to feel complete. She'll feel the difference. She'll feel your center. And paradoxically, when you don't need her, she will be drawn closer, not because you manipulated her, but because real strength, the kind that doesn't flinch or beg, is irresistible. Number 2, the hidden cost of needing her too much, and how she senses it instantly. She may not say it out loud, but she feels it in your tone, in your timing, in your energy. The moment you begin needing her more than you need your own purpose, she senses the imbalance, the unspoken pressure, the silent cry for reassurance, and that's when she begins to pull away. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because something inside her primal unconscious whispers, "This man is leaning on me more than he stands on his own." You might think sending another text will make her feel loved, but she reads it as neediness. You might think expressing how lost you feel without her will pull her closer, but it often pushes her away. Because here's the truth: emotional overdependence doesn't invite love, It invites distance. When you make her the sole source of your validation, you put her on a pedestal so high she has no choice but to look down at you. That dynamic becomes exhausting for both of you. For her, because she feels the pressure to always be on, to always provide the dopamine hits your heart demands. For you, because no amount of replies, emojis, or affection can ever fill the space only you were meant to guard. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength begins when you stop waiting for her text to feel worthy. It begins when you realize her distance isn't your failure, it's a mirror reflecting where you've abandoned your own path to orbit around hers. And when you orbit her, she stops spinning toward you. You lose your gravity, you lose your pull. But when you return to center, when your life becomes full again with your own pursuits, your silence, your discipline, you regain something far more powerful than her affection. You regain her respect. And when a woman respects a man, something deep inside her softens. She doesn't have to carry your emotions. She doesn't have to guess your next reaction. She's free, and so is the relationship. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, to prove, to declare your emotional dependence, pause. Return to your breath. Return to your power. And remember, you are the anchor, not the wave. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to be grounded. That is what keeps her coming back. Number 3, emotional hunger is not love. It's a warning sign she instinctively avoids. There's a subtle energy some men give off. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. But it clings. It's the energy of emotional hunger, the need to be reassured, to be needed, to be seen, not from a place of inner fullness, but from the ache of inner emptiness. And make no mistake, women feel it immediately. You may say the right words, you may even give space, but she senses that you're watching, waiting, hoping beneath every message, every silence, every act of kindness. It's not confidence, it's need wrapped in politeness, and it's not attractive. Because what most men don't realize is this: love and emotional hunger feel different in the body. Love is stable, present, rooted. Emotional hunger is restless, grasping, desperate. You can't fake the difference. When your energy says, I need you to like me so I can feel okay, you unconsciously put her in the role of rescuer, mother, therapist, everything except what she wants to be your lover. She didn't sign up to save you from yourself. No woman wants to feel like she's your oxygen mask, because deep down she's not just looking for affection, she's looking for containment, for a man whose presence is so whole, so unmoved by external chaos that she can relax into him instead of feeling responsible for him. And if she senses that her silence makes you spiral, she'll retreat, not to punish but to protect herself, because emotional hunger is unpredictable. It leads to overreactions, guilt-tripping, passive-aggressiveness, the slow death of attraction. As Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. When she pulls away, what do you tell yourself? That you're not good enough, that she's losing interest, that you must do more, say more, be more. No. What you must do is detach. Not from her, from your craving to be filled by her. Return to yourself, not to become indifferent, but to become whole. Because when you are full from within, your love becomes a gift, not a demand. And that is the love she never runs from. Number 4, the moment you chase. She slows down, and why your urgency destroys her desire. It always starts the same. You feel a connection. You feel momentum. She's laughing at your jokes, replying quickly, even initiating, and then something shifts. Maybe she replies slower. Maybe she doesn't bring the same energy. So what do? You double down, you lean in, you chase, because your brain whispers, if I don't act now, I'll lose her. But here's the brutal paradox. The moment you chase, you reverse the polarity. What was once magnetic becomes repellent, not because she's playing games, but because women are biologically wired to slow down when a man speeds up emotionally, especially if his urgency comes from fear. She feels it in your tone, in your frequency, in your eagerness to fix what hasn't even been broken, and suddenly what was once light and effortless becomes heavy, expected, needy. Because chasing is not just action, it's emotional posture. It says, I need your response to feel secure. I'm afraid of losing you more than I'm centered in myself. I don't trust the natural rhythm, so I must control the outcome. That energy kills the mystery, the tension, the gravity, as the Stoics teach. Freedom is the only worthy pursuit. If she feels your love is a trap, even a golden one, she'll run. Here's the truth. Women are drawn not to the man who rushes forward, but to the man who stands still, the man who waits, who watches, who moves with calm precision, not reactive emotion, the man who lets silence stretch not as punishment, but as presence. Because in that silence, something powerful happens. She feels your stability. She feels your non-urgency. She feels that you are enough, whether she leans in or not. And paradoxically, that's what makes her lean in. So when she slows down, don't panic. Match her pace. Let the dance unfold. Stay grounded in your center, because the man who doesn't chase is the one she ends up chasing. Number 5. Why her silence speaks louder than her words, and what a Stoic man hears. You sent the message. She saw it. No reply. An hour, 3 hours, a day, maybe 2, and suddenly your mind becomes a battlefield. What did I do wrong? Is she testing me? Should I message again? But here's where the ordinary man fails. He listens to her silence as rejection. A Stoic man, however, listens deeper, because silence is never empty. It's a signal, not always a sign of disrespect, but often a reflection of her internal state, her fears, her confusion, her unresolved feelings. A woman's silence may be a retreat into her past wounds, a test of your presence and reaction, a fear of vulnerability disguised as distance. The modern man responds with panic, the Stoic man with stillness, because he understands what Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Silence is an outside event. Your anxiety is internal. Your reaction is your responsibility. So what does a Stoic do? He watches, not her silence, but his own thoughts about it. He doesn't chase a response. He doesn't fill the space with neediness. He doesn't try to earn back attention he never truly lost. He stands. He returns to his mission. He creates, builds, grows, not as distraction, but as discipline. And here's what happens next. If her silence was a test, he passes it. If her silence was fear, she feels safe in his steadiness. If her silence was disinterest, she quietly removes herself from a man who was never moved by loss of validation. This is where power is forged, in the space where boys crumble and men rise, because women don't always return to the man who begged. They return to the man who never wavered. So next time silence greets you like a wall, don't knock on it. Let it echo. Let it reveal what's meant to be seen, because sometimes the loudest truth is the one never spoken. Number 6, why you must stop saying, I can't live without you, and what to say instead. You thought it was romantic, telling her she's your everything, that without her life loses color, purpose, meaning. Movies told you this was love. Songs echoed it endlessly. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you say, I can't live without you, you're not expressing love. You're confessing weakness. You're handing her a burden she didn't ask for, the responsibility for your happiness, your peace, your identity. And no one, not even the most nurturing woman, wants to carry the weight of your soul. Why? Because love born from neediness suffocates. It clings. It drains. It stops being love and starts becoming emotional debt. Stoicism teaches us the opposite. As Epictetus wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And here's the truth you must face. She is not in your control. Her love, her presence, her loyalty. You don't own her. And if you fear her absence more than you honor your own presence, you are not in love. You are addicted. What should you say instead? Nothing that comes from desperation. Instead, live in a way that silently says, "I choose you, but I never lost myself choosing you. I enjoy your presence, but I remain whole in your absence. I am not here to be saved. I am here to share my peace, not borrow yours." Because when a woman feels that she doesn't pull away, she leans in, she respects you, she desires you, not because you need her, but because you don't. Need is not attractive. Self-possession is. It's magnetic, it's rare, it's masculine. So next time your heart aches to say, "I can't live without you," breathe, feel it. Then say this to yourself: "I can live without her, but I choose not to because I've built a life worth sharing, not escaping from." That is what she truly wants. A man who chooses her, not a man who collapses without her. Number 7, how needing her to text back is silently destroying your power. She hasn't replied yet. It's been 20 minutes. You check the phone again, then again. You replay the last message you sent. Was I too dry, too eager? Did I say too much? But let's pause right there. That feeling creeping in, that subtle anxiety, that tightening in your chest, that's not love. That's dependence. And dependence is the silent assassin of masculine energy. You think you're waiting on her message, but what you're really waiting for is validation. Her reply is not a conversation anymore. It's a measurement of your worth. And this is where most men unknowingly surrender their power. Because every time you let a delayed reply steal your peace, you're telling your subconscious, "I'm not enough until she acknowledges me." Marcus Aurelius would disagree. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, not in her hands, not in her texts, and definitely not in her attention span." So what's the Stoic response? Simple. You feel the urge to check your phone. You pause, you breathe, and then you choose yourself. You get back to your work, your training, your mission, because a man on purpose doesn't beg for breadcrumbs of attention. He's too full to feel hungry for that. And paradoxically, this is when she texts back, when you've stopped needing it. Because women don't chase men who wait by the phone. They chase men who forget to check it. So next time you're tempted to stare at the screen, remember this. Your value doesn't rise or fall based on how fast she replies. Your peace is not held hostage by her typing bubble. You are not a boy playing emotional hide and seek. You are a man, and your time is your power. Guard it like your soul depends on it. Because in the end, it's not about how long she takes to reply. It's about whether you kept becoming stronger while she was silent. Number 8. Why I Can't Live Without You Destroys Her Attraction. It sounds poetic, romantic, like something from a love song or a movie. I can't live without you, but let's break the illusion. To a woman with emotional depth, these words don't feel like love. They feel like pressure, neediness disguised as devotion, fear masked as passion. What you think is vulnerability, she hears as dependence. Because when you say, "I can't live without you," you're not offering love. You're offering your entire self-worth as a gift she never asked for. This isn't strength, this is emotional debt. And every time you speak from that place, you push her into the uncomfortable position of being your emotional oxygen. No woman wants to feel like your survival depends on her presence, not because she doesn't care, but because real love is built on choice, not necessity. As Epictetus taught, He who is not self-sufficient is poor, no matter how much he possesses. The truth is, if your soul collapses the moment she walks away, you were never whole to begin with. And here's what happens when you project that kind of fragility. She pulls away, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct, because biologically and psychologically, women are drawn to strong centers, men who can hold space, not men who fall apart. So what do you do instead? You love her, you appreciate her, you desire her, but you never need her. Your energy says, I want you, but I am whole with or without you. That's the paradox. The more independent you become, the more she wants to be part of your life. Because she's not rescuing you. She's being chosen by you. So next time those words reach your lips, I can't live without you, replace them. Say, I live fully, and I'm glad you're part of it, because that's the kind of energy she'll never want to leave. Number 9. How your emotional stability becomes her secret obsession. Let's be honest, most men chase emotional closeness by revealing everything too soon. They pour out their thoughts, they confess their fears, they open wide, hoping for comfort. But here's the hard truth. What draws her in is not how much you share, but how much you contain. It's not the flood of emotion that creates attraction. It's the quiet river beneath the surface. When everything around her feels chaotic and you remain calm, not distant, not cold, but centered, she feels something primal awaken. Because deep down, every feminine soul searches for a man who can be the calm in her storm. Not because she's weak, but because your stillness mirrors her safety. This is the Stoic paradox. The less you chase emotional validation, the more emotionally powerful you become. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength isn't loud, it's not boastful, it doesn't need to prove anything, it simply is. So when she tests you with silence, when she throws words like knives, when she waits to see if you'll lose your center, don't chase, don't react, don't break. Instead, look her in the eye and breathe. Show her that her chaos cannot shake your foundation, not because you're trying to win, but because you've already won the battle within. And suddenly you become different from every man she's ever known. Not emotionally dead, but emotionally sovereign. Not emotionally numb, but emotionally untouchable. She can't name it, she can't explain it, but she feels it. And in a world of boys who lose themselves in her emotions, you become the man who reflects her back to herself, clear, solid, and whole. That's what she obsesses over, not a man who confesses everything, but a man whose presence says everything without needing to say a word. Number 10. The paradox of letting go. Why walking away makes her stay. Here's the paradox no one dares to admit. The moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts needing you. It sounds brutal, unfair even. But human attraction is not built on logic, it's built on energy. When you grip tightly, she pulls away. When you release, she feels the shift. Because when you let go, you're not abandoning her. You're releasing the need to be chosen. You're saying, I am enough. With or without your validation, I remain whole. That energy, it's magnetic. Women can feel it in your silence. They can sense it in the way you no longer reach. They notice when you stop orbiting around them and start revolving around your own purpose. And suddenly you're not the same man who once begged for her time. You're the man who walks with direction, with dignity, with destiny. This doesn't mean cutting her off. It means cutting off the emotional leash that kept you chasing, because letting go isn't about giving up. It's about giving space for her to come to you. As the Stoics say, freedom comes when you release what you cannot control. Her mind, her mood, her presence, but your purpose, your path, your peace. Those belong to you. And when she feels that you're no longer waiting, no longer watching, no longer pleading with silent glances or delayed messages. Something shifts inside her. The illusion of control dissolves. The power dynamic flips, and she realizes you're not just another man hoping to be loved. You are love. You are fire. You are the mountain that doesn't move when the storm comes. You stopped needing her, and that's what makes her need you. That's the paradox. Let go of the chase, and she'll chase the man who finally chose himself. You were never meant to beg for love. You were meant to stand tall in it without leaning. When you master emotional independence, you stop trying to get something from women and start being something they can't ignore. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about realizing you don't need to be chosen to feel complete. That's Stoic love. So now try 1 week. 1 week of not seeking validation, of building a life so rich, so full of purpose, that anyone who enters it must rise to meet you. Then come back and tell me, did she sense it? If you felt this message, brother, drop a comment. I don't shrink for love, I expand in silence. And don't forget to subscribe and join the Stoic Brotherhood. Until next time, stay grounded, stay powerful, and lead with silence.